from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Alert.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Forecaster John Bordash here with you to give you your 7 a.m. update on what it is we're looking at. If you can hear me fine, let me know before we get too underway with this. Yeah, we're not dressed up too much this morning. These 7 a.m. updates are never that easy when we have storms because this is normally the time I try to get in a couple of extra hours of sleep. So, and I see that Roy says he can hear me. So yeah, we have a pretty active morning. We started to see precipitation move into the region right around 4 or 5 o'clock or so with a couple of rain showers. And if we can give this a pause. So yeah, right around 4 hours ago, this was the scene. Not much was going on. We saw the bulk of our precipitation down here to the south, and we've seen this really kind of push on into the region here, even getting several reports of thunder and lightning across the region, heavy rain pushing on in. You can see that just really kind of taking aim here. With actually the worst of this right now, and I will need to switch scenes over here. We'll come over here. Let me bring this on over if it wants to work. We're getting there. As we take you on over to present time, we actually have a pretty gnarly little storm kind of moving through here, moving out of Westmoreland County. I want to say this is moving into Northumberland County. I believe I'm getting my counties right down here on the northern neck. But decent amount of lightning, some pretty heavy rain, and that's now actually crossed here over the going over the Potomac, and this will be moving into St. Inigo's Ridge, St. Mary's City, Scotland here over the next little bit. And you see we have a nice little core there, some heavier rain, plenty of thunder and lightning reports. That's pushing off to the north and east. So down here in southern St. Mary's County, be ready for a decent amount of rain here on top of what's already happening. So that rain rate will increase there for you as this continues to push here to the north and east. And I mean, much of the region, really kind of south and Leonardtown, you'll probably hear this thunder and lightning as it comes on through. A new report of lightning coming in here over the Potomac, really kind of off the shore of Louisetta. That'll be getting again on over towards Ridge and Scotland here over the next little bit. And kind of region-wide, we're looking at that heavy rain pushing on through. This kind of band of heavier rain that's pushing through Cambridge, that pushed through our region over the last hour or so, and that brought a decent amount of thunder and lightning through a lot of areas here across Charles, St. Mary's, Calvert counties. And that's going to continue to push to the east, and that's the direction a lot of this is heading towards. And we were talking yesterday about these convective bursts that would be possible within this grander scheme of heavier rain, and we are indeed seeing that. Now, if I were to switch you back on over here momentarily, on over here, I'm going to get some of these layers off. 54 down towards Scotland was just insane. But if we take off some of these layers, what you'll see where we have all of these shadings, and I'm going to get a couple more of these layers off to kind of clear the screen a little bit. This would be our highest severe weather risk. Yesterday, southern parts of Calvert, parts of St. Mary's County were under that level 2 elevated risk of severe weather. That's actually been trimmed all the way now, where there's no credible threat of severe weather widespread across our region. Yeah, we're looking at that really nasty storm getting ready to cross across the southern tip of St. Mary's County, but it's this orange area down here through parts of the Carolinas where you're going to be talking about the greatest severe weather risk. So the severe threat isn't necessarily all that high this morning. Granted, the main things we are still watching with this would be those gusty winds and that lightning as well. If I take you on over here, we are looking at maybe a little bit of rotation with this. Nothing that I'm overly concerned with at the moment. This would be, to me, more upper level rotation. Nothing really all that ominous at the moment, but we'll see, so just be on guard here. South of St. Indigo, south of St. Mary's City, you have a pretty nasty storm moving here, and that's going to be moving across over the next 15 to 30 minutes. So, not that I think you would be outside this morning, but if you had plans to be outside, you might want to move inside for the next little bit as that continues to push on through. And kind of looking back out here to the west, we've already switched over to heavy snow back here towards Winchester on over towards Frederick. And if we actually quickly take a look at Let me switch this on over. If we take a look at our current temperatures this morning, and I'm sure this will take a minute to load up as it normally does. Yeah, we're 50 right now at Pax River, 39 on up towards DC. Back here into Western Maryland, we're down to 19 degrees. So this cold air that's currently sitting across Western Maryland, that's going to be rushing on in here over the next little bit. What I do want to do is get Futurecast loaded up, which will take just a moment. So do give me time to work through that. And we'll kind of time everything out here for you today. We do have a pretty active day on tap. We've already seen that kind of take shape here. And I think it's only going to continue over the next little bit. So I want to get all of this turned off. And you all know I am not the best at multitasking. And we'll see if this wants to load. I have a feeling it might not want to, just because it doesn't really want to work with me this morning, which is fine. So here's what we'll do instead, because I'm not going to waste my time with it. Let me bring you on over here. Oh, here we go. We're going to take a look at Futurecast this way. It's not the best way to look at it, because it's hard to get a timestamp for you all, but it will work for what we need it to do. There we go. So we can see right now, decent amount of rain pushing across the region with that snow back out to the west. Periods of more moderate snow, even back towards parts of the Shenandoah Valley. So as we push this forward here, we're now getting us on over towards about 8 o'clock. So you could see that rain continues to push on up, that rain snow line continuing to crash to the south and east, coming across I-95 by 8 o'clock. As you head on over towards 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, you begin to see that orange stripe there. That's going to be your rain snow line, a little bit of sleet mixing in. That's going to be crashing south and eastward, snow on the other side of that. And as we continue to push forward here, what you'll see is that we then transition over to a period of snow. It's not a lot of snow. Futurecast even picking up on a little bit of a dry slot trying to develop. We'll see if that doesn't just fill in though. As we continue to push on forward though, you can see we have snow that lingers throughout the afternoon. This is getting us closer towards about noon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And you see the snow kind of overspraying the region. Is it a lot of snow? It's not at all. What I do want to do, let me bring it back on over here. And of course, our OG Futurecast decided to work with us, but we no longer need you. What I would like to do is bring us over to something. If this would like to work. So do bear with me. Clearly the computer is also waking up, which I totally feel. Let me bring you on over here. So this was this morning's weather update, and just because I didn't get any of our any of my graphics loaded into the show, we'll just kind of utilize the forecast update from this morning, which does a pretty good job of kind of describing everything for you. So this is your hourly forecast as we work on through. We're approaching 8 o'clock. Those temperatures are really going to start to fall here over the next little bit, and that rain, like we just saw, goes over to snow by 10 o'clock, and I think we're looking at all snow probably by 12 o'clock. It could be heavy at times for some of you. It's not a widespread heavy snow, so if, let's say you're in Leonardtown and you're not seeing heavy snow through this event, that's kind of forecasted. We just looked at Futurecast, but I don't think we're talking a lot of snow. And then we do see things gradually taper off throughout the evening. Let's come on down here though. So this was Futurecast projected snowfall totals for you. And not that much snow across our region. This model has maybe an inch in Leonardtown, maybe 2 on over towards Waldorf. I'm very skeptical of us even seeing that amount of snow. I think to see a slushy inch or two, you're really going to want to be along 301 back to the west. Closer to I-95. I think across much of our region, you could see a slushy coating to an inch, and that's mainly going to be on roadways. I don't think it's going to be a widespread thing where we're talking 1 to 3 inches across our main area roads. I think this is mainly just a grassy accumulation type thing. However, we will see temperatures crash throughout the day today, and that's going to allow any wetness on these roads to really freeze up. So the rain we're seeing now, that's going to turn to some black ice as we head throughout the evening. So keep that in mind if you do have any travel plans. I don't encourage travel this evening, but if you need to travel, do keep that in mind. Coming down here, we do actually now have a winter weather advisory in effect for PG. Oh, and that's nope. Okay, I guess it actually kind of works a little bit. We do have a winter weather advisory. These counties here shaded in purple for Anne Arundel, PG, and Charles County. This is from 7 a.m., so it's actually already gone into effect until 3 o'clock this evening. This is, again, for maybe a couple of inches of slushy accumulation on grassy surfaces. That's pretty much what we were talking about earlier. And I think, this is, if you're going to see accumulation locally, that's where that will be. Winter storm warning back to the west. Frederick, Hagerstown, Winchester, Leesburg. That's where the highest snow totals will be. And we even have a blizzard warning in effect for the Blue Ridge Mountains. Not so much for a crazy amount of snow, but for those gusty winds, which, if I come on down, this would be the wind gust map. Peak wind gusts today. We see gusting upwards of 45 to 50 miles an hour at times today. As those winds come in from the northwest, we're already beginning to see those winds increase, and I think they're only going to continue to increase later on this afternoon and evening. I think the peak of these wind gusts are probably between about 11 o'clock this morning and about 10 o'clock this evening. That's kind of the core for when we're looking at the gustiest winds. Winds will gradually taper off overnight, but it's still going to be somewhat gusty tomorrow morning. Wind gusts upwards of 15 to 20 miles per hour. Let's see. Let's come down here, and that wind advisory still in effect for much of our region. Again, gusts upwards of 50, even up to 55 miles an hour at times for all these counties here shaded in color. That's our entire coverage on all of southern Maryland, all of the northern neck, and actually the entire state of Maryland. This is kind of the last graphic I want to show you here, and you can access all this jbweather.net. For today's forecast post, what we can see is that wind chills overnight tonight, they drop big time. We're getting those feels like temperatures down into the teens overnight tonight, and even into the single digits for some of our colder communities and our more rural communities in Charles, Anne Arundel, PG counties, and back towards the Blue Ridge. And I can hear the train moving through this morning to wake everyone up. So yeah, it's going to be cold. Air temperatures this evening get down into the 20s, and we'll probably stay in the 20s overnight. Maybe some of you get into the upper teens, but with that wind, even a 15-mile-an-hour wind gust, which won't be as crazy as what we'll see today, but that's what we'll see tonight, that's still going to add that added chill to the air. So that's going to be what we're tracking throughout the day today. Let me bring it back on over to radar, though. Take a look at what it is we are currently looking at, and after our failed attempt to load up Futurecast, we got to get this back on over to regular radar, which is tons of fun. Let's get you loaded up here. There we go. The banner's updated. Let's get radar data loaded too. We're at 45%, 89. She's trying. She's trying. There we go. So while we wait for our high-res radar to load up here, there we go. Yeah, we can see decent amount of heavy rain kind of centered here on southern parts of St. Mary's County, St. Mary's City down to Ridge, down to Scotland. This southern part here, Route 5, that's really where you're looking at some of the heaviest rain. We have heavy rain pretty much area-wide, whether you're up in Lothian or on over towards La Plata, down towards Mechanicsville or Leonardtown or Lesby or Prince Frederick. Decent amount of rain across the region this morning. And actually, we should be able, if I can switch this on over here, I want to see if we're able to get an estimate on the rain we've seen so far. Let's see if that wants to load up. So far, radar's estimating up around between a quarter and a half inch of rain so far, which, is expected for where we're sitting right now. Some of us might add another quarter to half inch of rain as things continue to push on through. But yeah, that storm in southern St. Mary's County is already kind of pushed out over to the bay, that heaviest of the rain. And what's really interesting here is you can see how this almost kind of like looks like a comma of sorts, how it kind of bows out like that. That tells us that we're looking at those gusty winds. So you're in St. Indico's or Ridge or Scotland or Dameron, Park Hall, St. Mary's City. Yeah, and St. George Island, Valley Lee. I'm sure you saw some pretty gnarly winds with this as it pushed through, and that just is evident that we're able to get that based on the way the storm looks. Maybe a little bit of rotation still with it, nothing too bad, and it's not really in our coverage zone anymore. I do want to see if we can get we're utilizing a lot of these tools that we only use during the summer, so it's kind of great to break them back out. This is our wind estimator, and yeah, radar's estimating winds upwards of 45 to 50 miles an hour with that wind gust at least at times. So zooming back out, you can see rain snow line is not too far off. It's trying to come closer to our region, kind of lining up along into the west of I-95 right now. So, my slang terms, I know. I know. I have lots of terms. But yes, we're going to see a transition to snow here over the next little bit. So do be prepared for that. I think most of us go over to snow. It's what, 7:30 now? Probably between about 10 a.m. and noon. Is it a heavy snow everywhere? No. There could be bouts of heavy snow, though, and I think you're most likely going to find that closer to I-95, but you could even see that through parts of our region later on this afternoon. We see the snow clear up as we head throughout the day today. And actually, if I can, oh wait, so that's that. So I can actually bring us back on over to, let me bring you on over, multitasking. I want to bring us on in here. Yeah, your hourly forecast. And I know that's not the best resolution, but I have no energy to load it into the show, so we'll just use the website. Yeah, you see, temperatures are really going to take a tumble here. This is the warmest part of the day. And actually, the warmest part of the day was a few hours ago. Temperatures got on up into the lower 50s. We're falling through the rest of today. We transition over to snow. The snow, again, looks to wrap up between 2 to 4, maybe as late as 5 o'clock. By sunrise, I don't think we're looking at any snow, and snow accumulation will not be likely on main roads, really just on grassy surfaces. So, yeah. I don't know if my pronunciation is good. I'm trying to say a slushy accumulation. In my mind, that's spelled SLUSHY, slushy, right? I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about. And it looks like the National Weather Service is up and working. It looks like they've expanded the winter storm warning to include parts of Baltimore County now. So any interest up that way, winter storm warning up there. So that is just about everything right now. We can take one last quick look here at radar to kind of see what's going on. And actually, if we take a look at Futurecast, you can see this is for right around, I believe this is 3 o'clock. A little bit of snow. Again, this is nothing too big. I think the biggest impact we're really going to see is from the morning round of rain we just saw move through, and then it's going to be from the gusty winds. I don't know if the snow is going to be as big of a driver today. It's what gets the most clicks, but I think the biggest impact you're going to notice will be from the winds, and we've been saying that for a few days now, that the wind will be the biggest impact here, and that temperature drop is going to be noticeable. We'll go from the 50s this morning down into the 20s this evening, with wind chills getting down into the single digits. So it's not going to be fun. And you're going to find, again, your highest snowfall accumulation back to the north and west. If we take a look at this model's projected snow, as it loads up, you can see where you get those darker blues. This is where you're getting your heaviest snows. Oh, there we go. Up through this region. This is like a nice, we'll call it like a 3 to 6, where it's a little bit more like a 1 to 3 up through this range. And this is still less than an inch. I mean, you can kind of see how our region's right there, barely on the edge of like decent accumulating snow. But again, that's not too surprising, at least from my vantage point. But Futurecast actually brings these temperatures way down. If we come all the way to later on tonight, you see these dark blues. Let's see, we're estimating temperatures below freezing, 24, 25. Back in the mountains, air temperatures down in the single digits, wind chills probably getting into the negative teens. So very active. But that's it for us right now. We will do another one of these probably in a few hours. Between now and like 10 o'clock. I don't know how much more there will be to report. We do have the heavy rain pushing through, but this is not that this isn't a high impact, but I would say the worst of the heavy rain with thunder, lightning, and storms, that's not pushed through. So we're left with residual moderate to heavy rain. And the next big change that'll be noticeable will be that switch over to snow. We're looking at those winds increasing now, and that'll be more of a gradual thing where winds are increasing now, and they'll definitely be here in full force by about 10 or 11 o'clock. And then we'll see like a gradual slope up to that. So do be weather aware, be aware of that. We have no warnings locally, severe weather warnings, which is good. And yeah, so that's kind of where we sit. So stay tuned. I'll continue to keep you updated. I'll have Facebook posts in the meantime. But we probably won't do another one of these live streams for at least an hour or two. Repeating myself is not that much fun. But thank you for joining me this morning. I will continue to keep you updated on the latest. And you can find my forecast, facebook.com/JBWeatherLLC, Twitter @JB_weather, on Instagram @JBWeather, and of course on the website, the kind of central hub for everything, JBWeather.net. Have a nice and safe one, y'all, and I'm sure we'll be talking again very soon.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.